When a person boards a train, do they ever really leave their life behind? Did they finish their breakfast or leave it cold on the table? Did they cross off every task on their list? Or did they run for the platform with a heart full of unfinished business? We all travel for different reasons. One person boards for just a single stop, a fleeting visit to bring a smile to a loved one's face. Another travels for 3 days, seeking comfort for a weary body. Then there is the one who rides for 13 days, crossing continents just to find a spark of peace for their soul. But then, there are those who spend their entire life on the train, stepping onto solid ground for only a single day. As Seneca once said, travel and change of place impart new vigor to the mind. But for some, the journey is the only home they have ever known. Once inside, you enter a world governed by the rhythm of the rails. Here, in a moving carriage, people share secrets they would never tell at home. A stranger is like a confessional. You can say anything, knowing you won't be judged. A train is a bridge between who you were and who you are becoming. But be vigilant. On these tracks, a person can dissolve as easily as a sugar cube in a cup of hot water. One moment they are there, the next, only an empty seat remains. Behind the clatter of the wheels lies a colder silence. What horrific deaths, what acts of violence and cruelty do these rails keep secret? The iron road remembers every drop of blood and every scream lost in the wind. Today, we listen to what the tracks are hiding. It was 1894, the heart of Nebraska. The country was led by Grover Cleveland, Old Vito, a man as stubborn as the iron we ride on. But the iron didn't lay itself. Thousands of souls built these tracks with bare hands and sledgehammers, carving through rock and swamp without the machines of today. As Elbert Hubbard said, one machine can do the work of 50 ordinary men. No machine can do the work of one extraordinary man. On that dusty evening, one such extraordinary man boarded the train. He was stooped and wiry, weathered by 1,000 storms. He handed over his ticket with a calloused hand. But 3 fingers were missing, a jagged memory of brutal labor. But then he looked up and smiled, a wide, radiant smile that didn't belong to his broken body. The conductor froze, wondering where this old-timer found the strength to smile like that. The ticket was yellowed, ancient. The conductor doubted its truth, but that disarming, honest smile was more convincing than any official stamp. He stepped aside, letting the man in. He didn't know he had just opened the door to a passenger who had been dead for 40 years. The conductor leaned in. "Where are you heading with such a precious cargo, friend?" he asked, nodding at the small box. The man's eyes grew glassy. "To Blackwood, sir. It's my Sarah's birthday. You see, mister, in the dark belly of the mines, I always slept with a smile, because in my dreams, we were together. I'd wake up with their light in my soul to face the toil. When I finally had enough coin, I went to a small haberdashery smelling of beeswax and cedar. I found a tiny trinket box, hand-painted and adorned with crimson velvet and delicate lace. I imagined Sarah's eyes widening. I imagined Martha's smile. After that, I counted the sunsets. Every day was a victory. I could almost smell the wood smoke of home. I just wanted to hold them." Large tears began to roll down his soot-stained cheeks. The conductor had never seen emotions shift so fast, from a horizon-wide smile to an ocean of grief. I remember when Sarah was born, dancing in the fields, her 2-toothed smile, her laughter like silver bells, and Martha. She wore a green dress with tiny white flowers. The sun played in her hair like it was in love with her. She was like a wildflower in a storm. Fragile, but the only thing that kept the world beautiful. I promised I'd be back by sunset for Sarah's 5th birthday. I've carried this doll in this velvet box for hundreds of miles. I just want to see that green dress again. The conductor returned just 2 minutes later, but the seat was empty, vanished. On the seat lay a tarnished watch and a faded blue ribbon. The memory of the 1854 Blackwood fire hit him like a wall of heat. He saw the flames devouring the station, the screams of the helpless dissolving into black smoke. The fire didn't just consume wood, it burned through the fabric of the future. With the dead, a part of the living died too. Rusty, the conductor choked out, clutching the watch of his lost friend. He collapsed, cursing the world and his own helplessness. Author. As the author, I believe mystery is always among us. People do not die without a trace. Their souls continue to watch over us. This thought doesn't frighten me. It brings me peace. As Carl Jung suggested, the soul is the greatest of all cosmic miracles. It exists beyond the limits of time. The official report says 47 people perished. 12 were children, including little Sarah. Silas Vane, the director responsible, was never charged. He lived in a mansion built on the profits of a furnace. Justice was never served here, but perhaps the Iron Road never forgets a debt. Have you ever stood on a platform and watched a train roar past without stopping? For millions, the passing train is more than just iron and steam. It is a symbol of life itself moving away from us. As the great Leo Tolstoy often reflected in his works, the railway is a relentless force of destiny, a path that we cannot change once we have boarded. Many people associate a passing train with a missed chance, a lost love, or a ghost of a life they could have led. The famous poet Walt Whitman saw the locomotive as a type of the modern, a fierce beauty that connects the pulse of the continent with the pulse of the human heart. But in our story, the passing train is a reminder that we are all interconnected. The strangers we see through the glass for a split second are not just shadows. They are entire worlds, carrying their own crimson boxes and green dresses. When we watch a train vanish into the distance, we are not just seeing a machine disappear. We are witnessing the flow of time that waits for no one. A train doesn't just carry passengers. It carries the collective memory of everyone who ever hoped, loved, or waited on a lonely platform. It is a moving library of human souls. And as it fades into the twilight, it leaves us with the most important question. Are we merely watching the world go by, or are we brave enough to face the ghosts of our own journey? As we move forward, look out the window. Watch how the landscapes shift, how the clouds chase each other across the endless sky, and how the sun follows the iron path of our train. In the rush of daily life, our eyes often fail to see the simple beauty surrounding us. But here on the train, we are forced into a stillness. We are forced to observe the shifting shapes of the clouds and the faces of people passing by. Faces we will never see again, names we will never know. Look at those trees standing guard along the tracks. Some have stood for 100 years. They are silent witnesses to 1,000 stories, keeping secrets in their wooden hearts. Time spent on a train has a way of opening our eyes to the unexplained. The famous writer Charles Dickens once spoke of the ghostly nature of train travel, describing how the world outside becomes a blurred painting of another reality. There is a story that during one of his long journeys, he saw a face in a passing window, a person who couldn't possibly be there, someone from his own past. It reminds us that just because we cannot explain something in our reality, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Perhaps, as modern physics hints, these are mere glimpses into parallel realms where the train never stopped and the fire never started. Between the rails and the stars, there is a thin veil. And sometimes, when the rhythm of the wheels matches the beat of our hearts, that veil lifts, showing us that the impossible is simply the not yet discovered. Today I watched the sun play hide and seek. Everything was gray, casting a cold sorrow. But when the sun finally broke through, its rays painted the world with such warmth that the darkness simply dissolved. Now, the sun has slipped behind the horizon, handing over the torch. As night falls and the carriage grows empty, the final whistle echoes in the dark. But do not be fooled. As Lao Tzu said, "What the caterpillar calls the end of the world, the master calls a butterfly." This night, this empty train, they are not a conclusion, but a preparation. Tomorrow will come. The sun is like a lighthouse. It is simply preparing to light up someone else's world. Today, our train has finished its run. We will let the engine rest, and let ourselves rest from these heavy emotions. Tomorrow is a clean slate. I am waiting for our next meeting. Every day I look forward to these warm hours we spend together. Please subscribe and join our journey. I cherish our time here, and I await our next encounter with a joyful heart. What station are you traveling to tonight? Leave a comment below. Safe travels, and I will see you on the next journey.